Hey everyone, it's Boogeyman Ben. Hope everyone's doing well and everyone's having a great evening. This is a video that I wanted to do real quick. I just got back from seeing Batman v Superman. Here's my ticket right here. So I was thinking about doing this video over the weekend, but since I just got home, I'm exhausted, gotta get up early for work tomorrow. But just wanted to talk about my thoughts on the film. Now the film is getting crushed by critics. I think it has like a 33% on Rotten Tomatoes or something like that. Very low. I was very surprised. I have been one of the people that loved Man of Steel. I talked about it in my 2013 movies, a year in review, that I really liked the film. It was my favorite Superman film. So I was really anxious to see, the sequel to that film. And I was really anxious to see Ben Affleck play Batman. Now, when it was first announced, everybody was crapping on Ben Affleck, saying, why is he playing, he's not going to be a good Batman, and just all going back to Daredevil and saying Daredevil sucked and all this stuff. And I was just the one, I did a video on that saying I was really thinking he would be a great Batman. And just talking about this film without giving away any spoilers, he was fantastic as Batman. I absolutely loved Ben Affleck in the movie. He did a great job as Batman, just wonderful as Bruce Wayne and Batman. If you can hear all that crazy, my cats are going nuts right now. But yeah, I love Ben Affleck as Batman. Did a great job. I think Ben Affleck gets so much shit for so many stupid things that people say about him and in the media and everything. I mean, they called him Batfleck, which is so stupid, but he did a great job as Batman in the film, and I hope that there is more of him as far as I know, they're making more movies with him as the character, so I'm really looking forward to that. Also, Henry Cavill, I love him as Superman. I think he's a worthy successor to Christopher Reeves, and he again does a phenomenal job in this film. Also, Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, fantastic. I was kind of skeptical when they first announced that she was going to play Wonder Woman because she's so tiny. I remember her from the Fast and Furious films, and she's very thin. She really bulked up. In fact, I think she gained 50 pounds to play Wonder Woman. So it was pretty, she did an amazing job. I almost wanted her in the film more than she was, but the way that they set up the Wonder Woman character was absolutely wonderful. Also, Zack Snyder's directing. I've always been a fan of Zack Snyder. I love Dawn of the Dead. I absolutely loved Watchmen. 300 was cool. Not really my kind of film. I liked Sucker Punch. A lot of people hate that film. And I loved Man of Steel. And he is a phenomenal director. In terms of visuals and action, he does a terrific job. In terms of my thoughts on the film, it's not a perfect film. But that doesn't mean I didn't enjoy it. The things that I think make it not as perfect, I think it's a little too long. That's not to say that it wasn't it was boring, but I felt like it could have been tightened a little bit. I felt like it just went on. There was some scenes that went on too long. Also, there was some characters in the film that didn't really. My wife and I were discussing it as we drove back from the film, back from seeing the film. There was just some characters in the film that didn't really need to be there as much as they were, and I don't want to say who it is because I don't want to ruin it for anybody. And then Jesse Eisenberg. Now, a lot of people have been very critical of him playing Lex Luthor. For me, I was actually interested in seeing somebody else take on the character and play him differently than he's been played in the past. I didn't watch Smallville, so I know a lot of people loved Michael Rosenbaum as Lex Luthor, and a lot of people wanted him to be in this film. I also heard rumors about possibly blanking on his name, guy from Breaking Bad, that he was going to play Lex Luthor. That was possible that he was going to play him, and don't know why I can't think of his name right now, but that the main actor from Bryan Cranston, there we go. So that Bryan Cranston was going to play Lex Luthor. That was a rumor that was going to happen, and that didn't happen. And I liked the fact that Lex Luthor was younger in the film. I think it actually added a little. It was nice to see him interpreted differently. But there wasn't a lot of menace to him. Jesse Eisenberg pretty much played him as he plays most of the characters he's played in other films. If you've seen him in Social Network, or if you've seen him in Now You See Me, or even Zombieland, he always plays these kind of hyper-erotic kind of characters, and kind of neurotic kind of characters. and yeah, I just it worked, but it wasn't. I didn't think it was fantastic. I did think it was a little, I think they could have cast somebody else in the role. But for all in all, he did a good job, and like I said, it was nice seeing him interpreted differently. The gripes I have about Batman v Superman is I think they should have made a sequel to Man of Steel. I think it would have been nice to see a second standalone Superman film before we brought in Batman and Wonder Woman and all these other characters to form the Justice League, because that's what makes the film feel a little overcrowded. The main point of the film is to see Batman and Superman clash, but there's a lot of other stories that are kind of going on in this film, and some of them really work, and others don't. So it's not a perfect film, but it's a very entertaining film, and it's one that I really enjoyed. I still think I like Man of Steel a little bit more, but I still think this film is a lot of fun. It's definitely worth seeing on the big screen just for the special effects. I mean, the fight scene between Batman and Superman, and some of the way the Batmobile looks in this, and the Batcave. And another person that I really loved in this, and I was really skeptical about him, was Jeremy Irons. Not the biggest Jeremy Irons fan, and I love Michael Caine as Alfred, and Alfred Goh as excuse me, Michael Goh, who played him in the Tim Burton films, but and Joel Schumacher, the Joel Schumacher films, Michael Goh played Alfred. So I was kind of curious to see how Jeremy Irons would play him, because he's more of a gruff actor than both Caine and Michael Goh. But I really liked him as Alfred. He really brought kind of a sly sense of humor to the character, and I thought him and Ben Affleck worked really well together. So the biggest things I had a problem... So, I mean, there was so many great things about it. Henry Cavill was fantastic as Superman. Ben Affleck was awesome as Bruce Wayne and Batman. And then Gal Gadot did a great job as Wonder Woman. The action was fantastic. There was some really great, visuals. Zack Snyder is a fantastic visual director. The issues I had was I think there was just too much going on. It would have been nice if there would have been a sequel to Man of Steel and then this film. But again, I can't complain too much. I mean, I got to see a pretty kick-ass film, and I think the critics are being overly harsh on this. And you can't compare it to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I mean, Marvel just did it right. They set it up perfectly. They started small with Iron Man, and they built on that. Whereas DC has kind of tried different things. The Christopher Nolan universe exists in its own. So, they tried it with Green Lantern. That didn't work. Man of Steel, some people like it, some people hate it. So, but that was like the most successful one that they had to build off of in order to get to the Justice League. And I think they've done just fine. If I had to give this movie a rating on my scale, I'm going to give it 3.5 skulls. I think that's a fair rating for this film. Like I said, it's not a perfect film. There's things that I think it runs a little bit too long. I think it could have been tightened up a little bit. There's some plot elements that just kind of feel forced. There's some things that just happen that don't make sense. But all in all, I still had a great time with the film. I enjoyed it. I want to see it again, and maybe my rating will change, But I do want to give this film, give it another watch in the movie theater. Actually had a really good time watching it, and I'm curious what everyone else has to say about the film. So please, if you've seen Batman v Superman, please leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Please don't spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it. But I really want to see or hear what other people think about this film, because it is getting really, really attacked by the critics. And I'm curious if audiences will warm up to it, or will be fans of it, or enjoy it like I did, and just go in and look for a good time. Don't expect this movie to change the world. I just went in to see a good kick-ass superhero film, and I really had a good time watching it. And sorry, I'm just kind of trying to get all this out, and I'm really tired, but yeah, I'm just curious what everyone else has to say about it. But I think the film is getting unfairly, kicked around by critics, and I'm hopeful that people will support it, and we'll see more movies with these characters. I want to see Ben Affleck. As far as I know, Ben Affleck is going to play Batman again in the Suicide Squad, which is coming out this summer. And I know that they've already shot the Wonder Woman movie, so we will have those coming out. And from my understanding, Zack Snyder is going to start shooting Justice League next month. So we'll see what happens. But I think this movie will do really well. I think there are going to be people that love it, just like Man of Steel. I think people will love it. I think people will hate it. But like I said, I'm I'm gonna, you know, hopefully it'll do well, and we'll see more of these characters. I want to see more Batman because I absolutely love the Batman character, and out of all the DC characters, he is my favorite. So that's gonna be it. So like I said, you know, just a real quick review of Batman v Superman. I hope everyone enjoyed this review, and I hope everyone has a great evening. And stay tuned for some more videos coming real soon. Take it easy. Stay scared. Peace.